Hi everyone, welcome to the reunion. It's been a crazy season. Controversy at the beginning, good gameplay at the end, I guess. I don't know if that's the word for it, but it's not my opinion. I'm sure you guys heard my voice plenty of times this season, so that's why I've hired a special guest host to host this thing. She was supposed to play the season, but she had a party and whatnot, so let her do her thing. Bree, welcome. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna give it to her. Have fun, guys. Take it away, Bree.
All right. Hello. So I'm going to start questioning with the order that you got voted off in. So I'm going to start with you, Rayshawn.
Hi, Bree.
Rob, chill.
The
I'm gonna come back in a
first
while then.
How do you feel about being the first boot of the season?
I feel embarrassed because of Tave. I really was trusting Tave. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then Tave does that. But I should have saw it coming.
Would you have done anything differently?
Yeah, not trust Tave.
Right there.
I love you, Sean.
And what did you do with the little time that you had in the game?
I used it to put attention on Lewis and JD, so Henry and Molly were able to just skate through.
Skylar, why did you go for, obviously you were using an idol, so why did you pick Rayshawn out of everyone?
Honestly, I think that's one of my biggest regrets in the game in general. I think I should have talked to Rayshawn. Okay, my plan now, after it had already happened, I think would have been to talk to JD, Tave, and Rashawn, kind of get something together, and then possibly target one of you guys, like Henry or Molly. I think that's what I probably would have done, but the reason why I targeted Rayshawn is because I think either it was Tave. Was it you, Tave, that said Rashawn's name first? Or I think I said it. I don't know. I just had heard his name, and it was only two names coming to me, my name and Rashawn. So obviously, I'm going to pick the one that's not my name.
Well, Skylar, I really wish that you had done that. Because if we had done that, I would have been totally fine with voting out Molly.
Yeah.
I would have flipped instantly.
Rayshawn, what drove you to call me out before you left?
Well, I told Tave, Henry, and Molly that if I get first boot, I'm just going to call out people. And that's what I did.
You were the next person voted out of SurvivorComp Live Season 1. Do you have anything to say about kind of pregame stuff with Kyler, or just your experience with Kyler within the game?
I don't even know why I got second boot. I really thought it was going to be Kyler. I don't know what people were thinking. Their brain was just not working or something. I don't know. But I don't know why people did that. I mean, I would wanted to say, if you would keep me, because I would be a target because I was coming for Kyler. But y'all just wanted to get me out because either I was going to split vote you or you didn't want to be on the drama side. But it's not drama, it's racism. So I don't really get it. Anyway, I don't know why you would keep a racist over me. Even if you say nobody wants to be like on the bad side of drama, it's not drama, it's racist. I don't get it. Somebody Alfie, please explain it to me. I don't understand.
Well, at the end of the day, looking back at the episodes, I didn't even enjoy what I was watching myself, if I'm going to be quite honest. I didn't like the way that I handled the situation after the episodes were aired and when the episodes were being filmed, because at the end of the day, like you said to me, if you're going to support a movement, then support the movement. And then I realized, well, I'm not being authentic. I'm not supporting this movement because of what I did. And when I watched it, I thought, why? If I'm going to be honest, I think I just wanted to play the game well, and that sounds selfish and it sounds ignorant, and I completely own up to that. It was, and I don't even really know what to go through my head with, but all I know is that watching it back, if we had the opportunity to go back and do it again, I know that the result would be different. And I've definitely realized a lot.
Yeah, it's just like I wasn't even like you guys saying
Yeah.
I was like attacking him and like
Yeah.
saying all that shit when it was just me
I
and like
know.
Cody saying period. Like that's
Yeah.
it. Like I was like I wasn't attacking him, and Peter was saying like I just see somebody getting bullied or attacked. I just feel bad for them because what if blah 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 blah. I don't give a fuck if a racist does whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Because he did that to himself. So I just don't understand. Like it really, like your thought process wasn't working
Yeah.
with me, and I was just like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring it up every single time. And I guess I got tired of it. I don't know, but like it was dumb. And like everybody was nobody was even saying anything in the chat. Everybody was DMing me saying like, I support you, I got you. Yes, you really calling him out. You doing the right thing. Blah 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 blah. But when it came time to do the real shit, y'all pussied out. So I just don't understand.
To like pick Kayla at the start because I was the other captain, but there was like obviously there was like the 5-person alliance with me, Tave, Ray, Sean, Molly, and John, and then there was like me, Tave, Lewis, and JD. So there was one spot that like wasn't in alliance, and that was Skylar. So in my head, like even though I love Skylar, I was like, okay, Skylar is going to be the first boot, and I didn't want that to happen to Kayla, and I just thought like we're probably going to lose the first challenge, so at least she'll get immunity. But like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you were on this tribe, Tave would have given you the idol as well. So. Yeah, it was just difficult. Like, I wanted to pick you, but I didn't want you to be first boot because I knew you would have been.
Well, if you picked Kayla, I wouldn't have been first boot. Me and Kayla would have worked together.
Period.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like, I was kind of mad that I was second boot because I really would have thought Kyler left. Like, I really was like I don't know. It's like I don't know. I feel like I felt it that I was going to get eliminated, but I also was like maybe I'm not. But
also, how come Kyler was like safe week 3? What was that about? Because like, wasn't he still up for?
Yeah, he got saved that other week too.
Like, what happened? No one even said his way.
Because Matt's not here.
Oh, when Matt went home?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the only one here.
Because no one voted for Kyler that was in that tribe. That was like.
Yeah, yeah, me and Matt voted for each other because me and Matt were the ones who voted with Kayla the first time. So to vote out Kyler. And then after that, Matt messaged me and he's like, okay, we have to like pin everything on Garrett and pretend like Garrett voted out Kyler. But I was like, okay, no one's gonna believe that, first of all, so I'm not gonna tell anyone anything about Garrett. Like he said that to me and I'm like, okay, you go ahead. And then right after he did tell people that, they called him out in the Zoom call, like yeah, right before we voted, and they're like, Bennett was like, yeah, Garrett, Matt just told me your name, so I think we should all vote Matt. I'm like, okay, I guess we're all voting Matt, because then by the time like I kind of knew he was dead by then, and yeah, I just heard that he was voting me, and he did. So I mean, I didn't really have a shot. I didn't want Matt to go, but yeah, that kind of went down that way.
If the Kayla vote, I definitely knew if I was playing like strategically, I would have voted out Kayla, but I just felt like I personally couldn't do that for a ton of reasons. I think I kind of said that in the first episode. So yeah, I ended up voting out Kyler, and I was trying to hide behind the votes, and I feel like I was kind of doing okay until whatever his name is, the guy who wears the hats, he kind of like laid it out for the whole tribe what everybody's kind of motive was. So that's kind of what like exposed me really hard, because I do feel like Kyler and the other guy, the one with the suits, I do think they were kind of like thinking I wasn't the vote until that. So yeah, I think my downfall was keeping Kayla with that vote.
Why do you think that was your downfall?
I think it was my downfall because the votes were so split, kind of 50-50. And going into the game, Kyler thought I was someone he could really trust. So there even being like a suspicion, and then Peter being super close to Kyler kind of like made it a 2-person vote already. And then Garrett, he's a little bitch, like he was just going with the suit guy. And then Alfie's fucking stupid. He went with them too. And then Bennett was just doing Bennett. He was going wherever the votes were because he was already in the minority.
Do you regret like trying to make it interesting during the tribe pick at the start? You know what I mean?
I don't regret it because I wasn't taking this game very seriously. If I was playing to win the game, I probably wouldn't have done half the things I've done.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
And actually, I don't regret it anyways because we won that fucking challenge. So yeah.
Thanks for picking me, even though I maxed out.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, next person voted out was Kyler. So this is just going to be open.
Boo.
Anybody can just
Tomatoes.
comment on
Tomatoes.
this time in the game.
Was trash.
Fuck him. Let's move on.
We were lucky to get him on. I was lucky to get him on my tribe
Actually-
the second time because no one else was gonna do shit and keep him. Like we were just not having it. Like everyone voted him out.
I
That
don't
was
even
it.
think
Like,
breath, honestly. Like, let's, like,
I do want to say something revolving around Kyler. I do want to say one thing. What's their names? Peter and Alfie are fucking idiots. Like, I don't care what they say. Like, y'all are literally so dunce. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And even the stuff, like, Alfie, I heard your little plea that you made when I first joined about your game during the time. But even the stuff you were saying postseason in, like, the island chat, everything was contradicting itself and literally none of it made sense. Like, I don't care for your opinion. You can say what you want to say, but I really need you to think about the words you say because none of it lines up and you need to find it in yourself to fix those issues. And I would say the same thing to Peter, but I don't see him, so.
Right, but he already did it with Iman before, so that's just, he ain't going.
That's it.
well, and I don't want to like beat a dead horse or anything, but I am still like so like disappointed
yeah.
that it happened. Like when the tribe came back, I was genuinely gagged that Kayla was gone and Kyler was still here, and I'm still gagged.
Like, bitch, I wanted to throw up. I was like,
We were
like,
pissed.
'cause I was counting the votes in my head. I said fucking Alfie, and I was like, are you kidding me? I really wanted to die. Like, I was like, I left that call so fucking quick.
And I hate
and
I hate the excuse of like, oh, I need to like be on Kyler's side because if I'm not, I'm gonna get targeted. Like, if Kayla and like
Literally.
everyone on that side was against you, they were probably against you because you were choosing Kyler's side. If you had never chosen that side, then they wouldn't have been against you, and I believe that.
Morality over game any day.
Because the next target would have been Garrett. Let's be real. If
Right.
Kyler would have went, the next target would have been Garrett.
Yeah, it
And we
makes
all
no
wanted
sense. And
Garrett gone.
even if he was the next gun, I'd probably prefer to be moral over a game.
I have a statement about Kyler's gameplay. I feel like Kyler was so, like, what's the word? Tunnel vision about Kayla that he couldn't really think about anything else. And yeah, I think that was basically his whole gameplay, targeting Kayla.
That was me too about Kyler. Like I was like, after Kyler gets on, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I was saying. I was like, I can't do puzzles, can't do this. I had never even played a Survivor Fast game, so I was like, I don't know what we gonna do.
I never worked with him, but I just like thought like, okay, I thought that he was completely stupid because he was preaching how like he wasn't racist, didn't have anything towards Kayla, but the first person like everyone's saying he targeted was Kayla. Like he could have targeted anybody else, and like yeah, he still should have went home. But like, I just thought that was like weird, and like I was like, girl, if you actually don't have a problem,
There we go.
why do you want her out first? You know?
Literally 2 minutes before he voted Kayla, he said, "I'm not voting you, Kayla." Right?
Like,
And I said, are we?
Right, you were like, are we though? Like, bitch, we know you're lying. You lied about an apology. You're lying about this vote.
So I'm just gonna say that for anyone who voted out Kayla, you can't use the excuse that it was just for the game because we know from watching Real Survivor and Real Big Brother that personal biases always leak into the game, into gameplay. So it's dumb to even say that it was for personal game. It was just for gameplay when you could have easily changed the vote. You didn't all have to listen to Kyler and vote out Kayla because obviously it was a huge personal bias on his part.
Next, we have JD. All right, JD.
Hi.
It is said that you are one of the bigger personalities of the season. You were
I'm sorry,
Who
did you
said
just call me?
that? Just kidding.
I'm kidding.
Matt.
Hold on,
who
hold on,
lost.
1 second. Did you just call me big? I agree. I'm kidding. Okay, continue. Sorry. Uh-oh.
We're involved in a lot of iconic alliances such as Thick and Thin and GH Jamboree.
Yes.
So, when you were voted out, why do you think it was you?
Obviously me and Skylar, we had the same idea. We were both gonna flip no matter what. I thought it was me because I tried talking with Bennett and Peter with the alliance that shall not be named that flops, that really wasn't a factor in the game at all, aka the Burn the Gays alliance. It was 7 people. It was made like a couple of days before the game. After it was made, no one used it. But they were both in there. I thought I thought it was pretty close with Bennett. I don't know. I guess Skylar flipped first and said me because I hadn't talked to Skylar, and I feel like that was one of the biggest regrets of my game is that I didn't talk to Skylar more. I love Skylar, and I thought we had a good relationship. We used to do Stan Brother viewing parties. So I wish I had talked on a game level with Skylar more, and that's why I feel like I was voted out.
So, which alliance were you the most loyal to?
I was definitely most loyal to the Thick and Thin. That was my core 4. That was my group. We had worked together. I'm pretty sure the Thick and Thin was the reason that I stayed week 1 because Tave and Henry were not going to vote me off.
Ray Sean wanted to flip. We were
Ray Sean wanted to flip onto me,
and I didn't want to.
Because I've already voted your name before first week, JD. So I just was like,
I was like, Ray Sean, 1 vote's enough. Don't worry.
No, and I was like, no, you're lying.
Like,
you're fucking lying.
You had something you wanted to say about JD's time in the game?
Yeah.
Dog fruit.
Oh my god, it's dog fruit. Okay. I don't know. Like I feel like I'm glad JD got further. I think from all the games that I've played with JD, this is the furthest he's gone in the games that I've played with him. So it proves that if I actually work with him rather than take him out.
Yeah.
It actually goes.
This is the first game you played with me where you hadn't voted me out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad we actually decided to work with.
I have a confession to make, Lewis. So, Fluky already knows about this, but we were in a Google Hangout together, like as we usually did. It was during pregame. He knows what I'm about to say. There was one time I do this thing where I say, "Oh, I need to go get a drink," or "Oh, I'm gonna be right back." And so I had left to go get a drink, but really what I did was I turned on mute, put my headphones on, and walked behind my computer and listened to all of your relationships. He was like, "Oh, I'm good with Bennett. I'm good with Peter. I'm good with..." I'm like, "Yep, writing it down. And then I came back and he was like, "Oh, when JD comes back, I'm going to pretend like I hate him, that we need to vote him out." And so I'm listening. I'm like, okay, I need to have a fake reaction. So I came back. He was like, "Okay, I'm going to vote JD out. I don't trust him." And I left, became like, ha, ha, ha. Anyways, that was a whole moment. So, Lewis, I am so sorry that I did that to you.
SurvivorComp Live Game Changers.
Next person voted off was Alfie. So, why did you vote Kayla over Kyler?
Not this.
Looking back, I don't even know myself. And in the game, I was sitting there and I was thinking, oh yeah, I voted her because I didn't trust her. I've never met her before. I just voted her. And I was thinking, why did you even vote her in the first place? You're an idiot. But I think going in, I was just very nervous and scared of everyone, and I was like, I don't really know a lot of these people. And with Kyler, he's such a big and dominating character that when he was telling me to vote her, I was like, I don't really want to have to do that, but like, if that's what makes like you like whatever, then fine. Um, like I should have stood up for myself and been like, no, you know what, I'm gonna do the right thing and vote with Kayla, but I didn't, and that's where I flopped. You know, I was just like okay with the vote, and I just sat there and went with it. So
Did we get to see the real Elfie on the show?
no, I think you saw someone that was just like a bit of a mess and a bit all over the place, and not just really being myself. If I'm going to be honest, I was doing what other people wanted instead of what I wanted to do, and I don't think that's a good way to play at all. And I think looking now that I'm watching the timeline of the season go down, I was completely happy with being voted out because, you know, they all got revenge for Kayla, and rightfully so. I voted her out, and they said, you know what, get out, you're gonna get the boot. So I was like, well, you know, there's no point fighting with something like that because, like, it it was correctly done. Like, I can't fight with that. So, yeah.
Okay, does anybody have any comments on Elfie's time in the game?
Crickets.
I think JD and Luis were talking about, I went back to see what I told the G, and it's not even anything. It's like one comment. So I think they were like saying stuff, but it's not even like.
JD really hyped it up.
Oh yeah.
I
think
did. I hyped it up. I hyped it up a little bit. Like, no.
Yeah.
Just
So
a
yeah,
little bit.
I think JD's is being stupid. It's not even anything. It was literally like one. It was literally 5 words.
Well, okay. So what we were talking about was for
No,
Kayla's
it doesn't matter
birthday.
because we're not even talking about you anymore. We're talking about Alfie.
But you brought me up.
Anyways.
You said I want to backtrack. So are we gonna
Comment about
backtrack? Or are you just gonna?
Well, yeah, because you brought me up. Yeah, because you brought me up, so I'm commenting.
I
No,
didn't bring you up.
I
Lewis
made my
brought you
comment,
up.
and now we're moving forward. Yes, you
It's all
did.
cool, guys.
You brought me up.
Anyway.
I'm just commenting on what was commented about me.
It was just.
Anyways, moving forward, because it was literally one comment, so it doesn't fucking matter.
All right.
Anyways, we're talking about Alfie.
Is this
I
fake?
think Alfie's dumb. That's it.
I agree. I am dumb.
Like to comment on Bennett's time in the game?
Yeah, it was super messy. I really wanted him gone after he like called out Matt in like week 3. That made no sense to me.
I was gagged when I saw that in the episode because I didn't know that happened. I said, fuck, okay.
I think he was just really frantic trying to save himself, and it was very poorly done. With that being said, I actually didn't want to vote him out the week he did go home, but I mean, because I knew he already burned all of his other bridges. So I was like, oh my god, BFF.
Can I say, as a preacher, like being one vote away from going to merge, it was so satisfying. I mean, so satisfying when 2 of the 4 people, no, Skylar's next. So 3 out of the 4 people that voted me out went off back to back to back. I was so happy. You had no idea because like you can't see what's going on because you're not allowed in the call. So I'm just like, okay. That's all I gotta say.
I don't really remember Bennett that well. I think he's cool. But I think one of the reasons why I wanted him gone was because he like told me the round before that he was voting somebody and just like completely lied to me for fun. So I was like, okay, I was like, all right, well, next round, like he didn't want to tell me who he was voting for. And I think I was telling Riley this. And like he was like both lying to us and he was clearly voting another way. And I was not stupid, but I was like, okay. And then the next round, I confronted him in DMs, and I was like, "Why did you lie to me the last round for no reason? Like, y'all didn't even have the numbers." And then he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let's work together." And then he went home.
Jackson and Holly broke up. I'm sorry, this is not, but
The next person voted out was Skylar.
Hi.
And I would like to know, did the first tribal frustrate you?
Oh my god, let me fucking tell you guys. Okay, so first of all, I don't know where bitch ass Molly is or delusional Garrett is, but I wish they were here because I had some things to say about them, but we'll get on to that later.
No
But
Molly slander allowed. I'm a proud
it's allowed in
theorizer.
my
I'm
house.
a
It's
proud
allowed in my house.
theorizer.
It's allowed in my house, but no, it was so frustrating because no fucking body was speaking to me other than John. And I swear to God, it was exhausting because no one had anything to say to me. And then Tave out of nowhere before like we were going to tribal finally talked to me and said, "Here's an idol." So it was just so frustrating because I was like, if Tave had not done that, like I would have gone home. Like I obviously I would have. So it was just so exhausting. And it's so like, I'm not mad because it is just a game, but I'm also at the end of the day, it's like, I kind of feel disrespected because no one even gave me a chance. You know what I'm saying? Other than the people that I've already mentioned. Like no one just would went to talk to me, and it was just exhausting. And that's why I have some things to say about Miss Molly and Garrett, because Molly spoke to me one fucking time in the whole game, and that was when I won immunity. So there you go. That's a weird reason of why to talk to me. And then Garrett had nothing to say to me and took my vote away. So like he was against me. He was against me like from the get-go. So I don't understand that. But yes, it was very frustrating. Sorry.
Okay, you were very vocal through most of the game. Did you think did you think that helped or hurt your game?
Listen, okay, so going into the game, I am such a loud personality in life. So I had told myself, because again, no one was speaking to me. So I was like planning on flying under the radar. But surprise, motherfucker, I couldn't do that because they were all voting for me. So then after that vote, I was like, you know what? Let me just throw everything against the motherfucking wall and just go for it. And that's what I did. And I was proud of a lot of moves I did. I flipped on JD. I flipped on Alfie. I think that was one of my like favorite moves ever, because that was my big grand plan to have Henry and Molly trust me, so then I could backstab him in the back later on in the game. Love you, Henry. So I think that was a really good move. So yeah, I just was trying to like not give a fuck and see how far I could go.
Also with you like backstabbing me, like I think at one point I went to the bathroom and I came back and people were like, "Skylar said your name." Like 5 people told me that. And I was like, "No, Skylar didn't say my name. What are you guys saying?" Like I actually really trusted you just because I like you on a personal level.
Thank you.
I ignored it. I think you were against someone who were you up against? Like that one time,
Lewis. Oh wait.
Was it Lewis?
It was Lewis.
When I went
Maybe
home.
Lewis. I don't know, not when you went home, like you stayed and I kept you and you were like, "Why the fuck did you thought I would have got rid of you, but no, I didn't." Like I don't know, I just trusted you and I never really turned.
I'm
Apart
so
from
gagged.
the first week, I was like, "No, I trust."
I'm so gagged. I was like, shit, because when it was the live public vote, which it just had to be my vote. I just think that's like iconic in itself.
Hey.
But when they said like Henry voted for Lewis, I was like, oh my fucking God. And that's when I thought I was staying, because I was like, well, if Henry stayed with me, then I thought Molly, because you know Molly did everything Henry did, I thought then Molly was going to do that. So but no, she finally made a move, and that was her one move the whole game, voting me out. So but she went home next. So
yeah.
Who was your biggest enemy in the game?
Enemy?
Enemy.
I had a lot of bitches I didn't like, but I think Garrett, only because he was so fucking annoying, just because he thought he was like running the whole game. And I was like, and I wanted to say in front of everyone, Garrett, baby, you're not running nobody.
He thinks that every game.
Well, and people have literally came to me saying that, and I'm like, I think we all need to have an intervention with Garrett and sit him down and say, baby, you're not running every game. You're not.
And I was going to comment off of kind of what Skylar was saying. I kind of agree. Like, I think a lot of people kind of know each other. But I always love, like, meeting other people. Like, I didn't know Skylar until I gave him the idol, literally. I met him
Literally.
5 minutes before. I did no pre-gaming. I maybe talked to Henry 5 minutes before the call, but that's it. And I think that's what's different about people. I think that explains why people like kind of get farther usually, is because you kind of have to adapt. Like you can't just work with the same people. I also met Riley that day too, and
Yeah.
Peter. Like,
And then we voted together like every vote except for the
exactly.
scholar vote.
So I
Except for
think that's like a part of like playing is like adapting and just meeting new people.
Yeah.
But also still kind of working with your other side. That's why I think like it was really hard for me to like give you the idol and you want to vote out Rayshawn. But at the end of the day, I knew I love Rayshawn. I knew he wasn't going to take it to heart. And we're fine now, you know?
Yeah.
And
Kind
I
of hurt it. It kind of hurted
And I'm not-
Tave.
oh,
and
I
I'm
knew it hurt. It hurt me to do it, but I'm sorry. You know I love
And
you.
I'm not saying like, oh, you have to like, if like, you know, because you don't have to
Oh,
like
yeah.
ever work with someone you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it with Rayshawn and JD. They went home because they weren't speaking to everyone. Like, I think there
Yeah.
has to be a level of like communicating with everyone, and that.
Hey, I have an excuse. I got put on DM limit.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true.
Always
but
happens at
still-
a crucial point. I swear to fucking God.
Would anybody like to comment on Molly's game?
I will say
That's
something
smart.
about her vote leaving week because of like Skylar. Wait, was Skylar out at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really know like where votes were lying every week because I never really knew where Skylar voted, and probably he voted against me. But I really didn't have like a very good read on the game, and I thought I did. So Molly was like, "Do I play the idol?" I was like, "No, you're good," because everyone knew she had it. I was like, "You don't need to." Like, I have a thing about like if you fuck up an idol play, you probably won't win the game. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be right. Otherwise, you've just wasted like the biggest advantage in the game that you can get. So I told Molly not to use it, and then she went home. So I feel like it's partly my fault, but it wasn't because I wanted her out. I just had no idea that she was gonna go. Same thing happened later on with John and my idol, which I would have used on him.
The thing is, I know a couple of people were like encouraging her to play it.
Mm-hmm.
If I could interject, I could obviously see everything. Peter was like yelling at her, like, "Hey, play it," and
Wait, I
she's
thought
like,
that was.
"No."
Wait, hold up. I thought that was Bennett for a second. I was like, when did he arrive?
No. But Peter was like telling her, like, "Hey, you need to play this," and then she was like, "Nah, I want to keep it." And then he ended up I think he ended up flipping his vote, if I remember correctly.
No, he was
And
always
voting
voting her out. He was just trying to be like on her good side. But yeah, I didn't mean for that to end like that.
No, it's fine. You're good.
Next person voted out. So
Yeah.
you lied about the puzzle. What was the point?
Yeah. I mean, A, I didn't want to be with Kyler, and B, like all my alliance was on Henry's side, so I wanted to ensure that I was with Henry and JD and Tave.
Peter.
Yeah, I have to, or I have to leave.
Okay. So, you made it to final tribal council and you lost by only one vote at the end. What are your thoughts on that?
It sucks. I've thought about it a lot and like what I could do to change that outcome. And I don't know. I just try not to think about it because it really does suck, and I wanted to win so bad. But I tried my best, and that's all I could have done.
So obviously everybody knows that you had a relationship with Kyler in the game. So would you like to speak on the Kyler situation?
Here we go.
Well, I've known Kyler for a very long time. And coming into the game, I dropped him, and I was just going to let him be first boot because I didn't want to harm my game, and I didn't want to offend anybody. But I was told by Garrett that they had a plan to split the votes between me and Kyler, meaning had Kyler went home, I would probably be targeted next, and I did not want to be third boot. So I kicked Kayla out of the game. I tried to get her out, and I did. At the second tribal, I realized that it was in my best interest to go after Matt because Garrett's my number one ally, and Matt was hardcore targeting him, plus Matt was well-connected, and he's just a really good player. So Bennett said Matt's name. Everybody kind of went along with it because it was easy, and Matt went home. And Kyler went as soon as the tribe swapped, and I seen that happening. I knew Kyler didn't have a chance in this game. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right. Would anybody like to comment on Peter's
Kayla, I'll let you go first.
You go first.
Let's go.
Hey, I don't want to go first.
Oh my
I don't want to
God.
leave this charge.
Okay, I don't get. It was better when we were all talking about it. Anyway, I don't get why you didn't like vote to keep Kyler if you said it wasn't like, you know, whatever. But then you said you were like defending him. Even you said you weren't defending him, even though you were defending him, and you say that all the time.
I was not trying to defend him. I just didn't like the fighting in main chat.
Like, and
It
nobody
wasn't
was,
even
I
a
did not
fight.
say anything about his. Okay, it wasn't a fight. It wasn't. But I just didn't like everybody going at it in main chat. I just didn't like that. It wasn't defending his actions. It wasn't defending his as a person. I just didn't like.
You should have just sat there and ate your food, though. Personally, that's how I feel.
It wasn't even everybody. It wasn't even everybody.
Hey, it was Kayla, and then didn't only Cody say period? Ain't that right, Kayla?
I completely agree. I shouldn't have got involved, and I'm sorry that I did.
I just think this is like a broken record because this isn't the first time that you defended the wrong person.
Well, that is very true. I mean, I have
you
my
keep using
reasons.
the excuse saying, "Oh, I've known them for a long time." Okay, well, stop being friends with bigots. When they get called out, make sure you don't stay on their side because it's a pattern.
Well, I apologize. I've said multiple times I'm trying to grow and change as a person, not do things like that. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Rayshawn and Kayla. I did not mean to offend either of you in defending Kyler. It was a mistake on my part, and I will try to do better. That is all I can say.
Here's the thing. Here's the question, though. After you say that, would you, if you could go back, would you have put in the game over your morals?
or would you have voted out Kyler over me?
If it caused me to be third boot, no.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be third boot. I want to
You
win.
were going to go third route Garrett was, so I just don't understand where you got that from.
Right.
Why are you getting to gain from that?
What'd you say, Kayla?
I said you weren't going to be third boot Garrett was.
Or Alfie,
Well,
because Alfie didn't.
You guys were splitting the vote between me and Garrett.
That
Plus,
was
I wanna
Bennett's
defend-
idea.
What?
I don't want Garrett to be third boot either. He's my number one. Garrett's been my best friend on Twitter for like
Why
3
the
or
fuck
4
did
years.
y'all not just target Garrett?
That makes sense.
Or Bennett, because Bennett asked to split the vote, but you want to target Kayla makes no sense.
I literally tried targeting Garrett.
Well, this season would have been
And
better.
people were down. Well, that's like completely different. That's like off topic, but like
I thought Kayla was the one hardcore gunning for me, and Bennett was just going along.
Why would I go for you when
nobody was coming after you, Peter.
I heard
nobody
pregame that
nobody was coming after Peter.
You're not even that relevant. Like,
well,
nobody cared about you.
I was wrong then during the game.
It's not true.
But I heard you guys were splitting the vote between me and Kyler.
Garrett,
Meaning, if Kyler plays an idol, I go
Let me
home.
see something real quick.
Why would we tell Garrett that?
Because Bennett trusted Garrett.
Bennett was the one voting you out.
Okay, and I heard you were targeting me as well.
Why would I target you when my target was Kyler?
Right.
Because you were mad at me to begin with.
I was mad at Kyler more. I don't give a fuck about you. Bye.
Well, if I'm second, if I'm the person you're most mad at, secondly, then
No,
I
it would
would
have
be
been
your
Garrett.
second
It would have been Garrett.
Influence in the game to get a whole person out.
Okay, well, in the game, I didn't know you were targeting Garrett. I thought you were targeting me from what I heard. So I went after you.
Kyler.
Next, we have John, who got voted out after Lewis.
Not the way he popped up like that.
John
Hello,
was like-
John.
Thank you. What's up?
Okay, so it is said that you played a very good game. You also had a lot of showmances.
Well, not literal. Like none of them were literal showmances. I don't think. Like I don't want to be associated with because I don't think I didn't have a showmance with Peter. I didn't have a showmance with Rayshawn. It was just joke. Like they were just like jokes after the season.
Jokes.
Yeah.
So, what showman were you most loyal to?
Definitely Rayshawn if he had stayed in the game because his was he actually mentioned it to me before the season started when I was just joking around with Peter after the season ended.
Okay, and everybody in the game seemed to trust John. Why was that?
Is that a question for me or other people?
I mean, we barely spoke.
John's a
Yeah,
loyal
no,
person.
Anybody?
He plays a
I mean,
loyal game.
I don't know.
Yeah, John's very loyal. Well,
and other people, I'm like very
I don't know about
genuine.
that.
When I speak to people, I'm very genuine. Like, and I cannot be fake. Like, that's just not with like in me really. So like if I talk to people, it's always just like real, and I'm not gonna I do like lying games sometimes, but like I'm not like gonna be fake to you as like a person one-on-one. Like it's just like, so I think that's how I like gain people trust, and it's always like real. It's not like I'm doing it just for game purposes.
Yeah, and I trusted John the most just because, I mean, like I said, he was the only one talking to me. So like even if I didn't fully trust him, I think I had to. So I like forced myself to. But then we like obviously like continued talking throughout the whole game, and then obviously I got closer and closer. And then yeah, so he was like my number one bitch.
he was my
Yeah.
number one as well. Oh.
Yeah, I love Skylar.
Probably a few people's number one, to be honest.
You did seem very mad,
I was-
and I thought it was at me.
Seemed sad, but I felt bad.
I wasn't mad. I was just sad. Not even that I got voted out, because I don't really give a shit if I get voted out in a game ever. It's more so how I'm like treated when I do get voted out, and I kind of got treated, like in my opinion, kind of shitty when I got voted out, specifically by like, well, not specifically by anyone, but like Tave, for example. Like he had only spoke to me, like he had speaking to me from time to time, like in the game about the votes, but then during my vote he went like crickets basically, which I don't respect at all. And then Riley, for example, like he had made me think I was like his number one and stuff the whole
Hey,
game.
I was actually. Can I speak on that real quick before
And
you
then
get in?
seconds before tribal council, he's like, "Oh, they're gonna vote you." So I knew he was obviously in on that too. Obviously.
Yeah. I was just gonna say real quick. Actually, like going into that week, I definitely like when I was flash forward to like Jerry, right? Where I'm like, oh my god, I had to vote out John because he was a threat. Okay, the truth is, I didn't even think you were a threat. So I actually just genuinely wanted you in the game, like strategically and just like on a personal level. I never wanted you gone. Obviously, that was probably misguided because I think you would have won in the end. But honestly, I did want to go to the end with you. I just thought like literally everyone else except for Henry was voting you out, so I didn't want to just make it tie.
Wait, who was the other vote? Like, who else did we vote for on John's?
You voted for Peter, Henry, and then I voted
Peter?
for Garrett, I think.
Yeah,
Oh
then
yeah, we like split it, right?
So then
Yeah.
even if I did vote with you, it wouldn't have done
Yeah,
it.
no, but like,
So I can't say I regret voting you out just because then it kept me like in that.
and like people were saying like I played a good game, which like I don't disagree with, because like I knew about every single vote this season. Like none of them were surprise to me. But I don't know. I don't think it's like I don't know, honestly, because
I think you played a really good social game because like I think like if you were in the end, I would have voted for you no matter what, even if you had no moves, because at least you like wanted to communicate with me. So I think you played a really good social game. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is the little like tension with you and Garrett? Because when we got into the jury call, there was some heavy like fireworks between you guys.
Well, Garrett just he always comes after me in games. Like I think we're fine on a personal level, but in every single game we like literally ever played, he always makes it to the end in games, and he always targets me in games. And whether he's successful in that or not, it changes from time to time. But like he always targets me, and it's just like annoying to me. And then, like, looking back, he always, like, especially in, like, the jury call for games, he always wants to claim he did this, that, and the third, even though he didn't have a hand in, like, most of the shit. Like,
yeah.
But I don't know. That's just me, though. Like, I like him on a personal level. Like, we're friends. But, like, in terms of games, I just can't stand Garrett. And, like, he knows that. I think it's the
a
other way.
shame he's not here. I just want to say that much because
No, it's a shame.
No, because, like, even in this jury call, like, if the jury call was filmed or anything for you all to see, but like Garrett was like, "Oh, I did the Molly vote, I did this, I did that." I was like, "You girl, you didn't do anything." But like
he said he did my vote too, and I just don't believe
your
that's true.
vote. Your vote was it was a consensus among like a big group of people. It wasn't just Garrett.
Yeah.
Like he always wants to claim that, and that's just not like feasible.
Well, and like what I didn't like is like, and y'all, and I'm saying this, I would say this if he was here. So like, that's not a narrative, but like I just didn't like when he came into the jury call, he literally discredited my game. He discredited John's game and said, "John didn't do shit." He had some things to say about Alfie. Like he had some things to say about everyone. And I think I just didn't like.
Did he say anything about me?
Oh, he said that you weren't like this big bad like threat, and I said, baby, Henry is a threat, at least in my eyes. And he, in his head, he just did, like, he said you weren't even a threat. He almost made it up like you were a goat.
He always calls me a threat. I swear he called me a threat after the game in the chat.
Well, Garrett, he goes back and
forth. Make it make sense.
Yeah, his ego's way too inflated.
Can I say something about Garrett?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know, like, in the short time I was here, Garrett was like very surprised that I was even targeting him. So since he's not here, and I'm sure assuming he'll watch this later, the reason I was coming after Garrett was because I've heard so many stories about Garrett. Garrett's played my game twice. I've seen how he plays. Like, I just think he's such an emotional person, and he thinks nobody can be better than him. And I just feel like if I was to have done well and made it far, he was somebody I didn't want to be in the jury because I feel like he's someone that never would have voted for me. You would never be able to sway him any direction, even like in the jury phase. So that was like the main reason I was targeting him. It wasn't because I didn't like him. It was just because like I didn't want him for game purposes. And that's it.
All right. The next person voted off was Henry. Okay. Henry, you won a lot of competitions. You were also tribe captain at the beginning of the game. And there was lots of drama with you at the Final Four Tribal Council. So, would you like to speak on any of those topics?
Yeah, so honestly, a lot of the like pre-merge was pretty good, like in my favor. The tribe captain thing, so I don't know how it happened. Kyler just so happened to not pick anyone that I wanted. Well, that was in like alliances with me, so I managed to get a whole 5-person alliance in my tribe, a whole 4-person alliance because they like crossed over. So then Skylar was just like the outsider, which sucked. There were other people I would have taken for Skylar's position, but like at the end, it was like Kayla or Skylar, the people that I wasn't aligned with that I could have picked. And I thought, okay, I'll give Kayla the immunity, and Skylar, like, I'm sorry, like, I had to pick someone, but it's fine because like we're good now, and like there was no bad blood. I know that. Did someone want to say something?
Yeah, you picked me last, right?
Yeah, I picked you last because I low-key, like, I was like, is it good to have everyone in my alliance? But I also wasn't sure if he'd pick you. I was kind of shocked when he picked Kayla instead of you, but
Same.
yeah, that surprised me. But after that, after the tribe swap, that's when it got even better because it was like after Rachel got voted out, there was like the Fantastic Four left: me, Molly, Tave, and John, and we were all on the same tribe again. So not that much changed. Then there was Riley and Kyler, so obviously that made that vote really easy. So I feel like I did have quite like a lucky start in the game for sure. And then once I could start winning individual immunities, I did mostly when I needed to. The idol obviously helped, but unfortunately I like could have used it and could have played my game differently, like using on John, telling Molly to use hers. So I really don't think I played like the best game ever. Like I think it was very subpar. And like you said, the final four, when it was kind of like Riley knew he was safe, it was kind of like me versus Tave. The reason I ended up voting for Peter in the end was because one, Tave was really dumb for saying he had found another idol that he'd never used. I thought that was like a good thing for his game. So why would you want to keep him to the end? That would make him a jury threat. But then after he said that, Riley still decided to send me home. So I was like, Riley, are you dumb? So I was like, okay, Peter gets my vote.
Which was the right decision.
It was the right decision
because I won.
But that's only because Tave lied about it, and that wasn't actually a thing that he did. I feel like if Tave had 2 idols and he hadn't used one of them, I probably would have voted for him. But from the information that you had, I thought that if I'd heard that and thought it being true, that I would have sent Tave home. So I don't know. Obviously,
I just think you could have explained yourself a lot better at final.
So you're saying if he had like not made that lie up, would you have voted for him? Or was like
if the lie had been true, I would have voted for him. So if he had a second idol, and to my and Riley's knowledge, as far as I know, we both thought it was true, and he still sent me home. I'd made so many.
I never thought it was true. I really didn't.
Okay, well, did you know?
I was kind of shocked when I heard that he did
Yeah,
have
me
one
too,
every single way.
but it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I know Tape's a great player, but in addition to that, like, Molly went home because I told her not to use the idol because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I thought Skylar was like a really close ally of mine. He wasn't. John went home because I didn't use an idol on him because I didn't know he was going home. So I didn't play a very good game. Yes, I maybe have like friends on the jury, but I don't know. Gameplay wise, Tape was better than me for sure.
I mean, I just never believed it because I was like, if you had 2 idols, you would have played one at Final 6, just in case. I don't know, like, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. So it's
Right.
just like,
I think
was
maybe if
just like,
Tave hadn't said that lie as well, I would probably would have voted for Tave in the end just because like it was dumb and I thought it was stupid that you made that up to try and stay to get to the final 3. But otherwise, your gameplay was. I was between like you and Peter in the end, and just because
Yeah,
of
honestly, I think when that happened, I literally just slept
Not
up
me.
because I was tired. I don't even remember that.
hmm Yeah,
I
it
got a
was.
question. So you voted for Peter, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Why? So I understand why you didn't vote for Tave. So why not vote for Riley?
So Riley didn't take me to the end, and I thought that was dumb after what I,
think that was the best move.
Right. It obviously clearly was, but it was my voting was very close between Peter and Tave, and I was bitter at Riley because I was loyal to Riley out of us final 4, out of everyone, I was more loyal to Riley than the others. So for him to cut me, I was like, okay, you're not getting my vote. Period.
BFF though.
Right. We're
And
good,
honestly,
we're good.
Henry, if it was, I wasn't lying to you. If it was a final 2, I think I would have kept you. Because I think I would have been safe either way at final 3 then.
Right. Yeah. I think you were good with everyone. You had a really good social game for sure.
Party.
Yeah.
All right, so next we have the 3rd place of the season, Tay.
Yes, Queen.
So Tay, you lied about having another idol. You gave an idol to Skylar at the first tribal council. And you had to break the tie at final tribal council.
That was so. In the moment, it was really fucking annoying, but I don't regret 100% voting for Riley. I think Riley earned it 100%.
Tave, I just want to say I was shocked that you didn't get more votes. I thought it was between me and you, which is why I was so hard on you at the final tribal council.
The thing was, like, I didn't realize that, like, Garrett was really close with Peter.
I had no idea.
I had no idea that me and Garrett were, this is also what I forgot to say is, like, was mad that Garrett got Sareed out because I knew nobody liked him. So I wanted me, him, and Peter in the final 3.
I wanted that final 3 too at that point.
And so when Garrett didn't vote for me to win, when I saved Garrett's ass so much during that game, like so much, because so many people like wanted to always vote him out. I remember John came to me multiple times and was like, let's vote out Garrett. And I always like, no, let's wait. Or like, I was like, not yet. So that was annoying. And then he just voted Peter because Peter and him are besties. I was annoyed at that. But I mean, towards the end of the game, like I was really tired. I think Riley did really, really good in the final speeches. I know I burned some people like John and Skylar, even though at that point I didn't know if I was getting Skylar's vote, but I was like, I'm probably not getting their votes. But yeah, I don't think I was robbed. I think Riley deserved it. I do think I should have got 2nd place, but that's it. I think Riley deserved it, and I'm self-aware. But I know I did play good. I will say that.
Moving on to the winner of SurvivorComp Live Season 1, Riley.
Next caller.
Oh, yes.
All right, so I'm curious. Explain your game and your path to making it to the end.
OMGT. Okay. I definitely pre-gamed a bit. I don't feel like I pre-gamed the most by any means. I try to talk to every single person, at least something. I had a FaceTime call with John the night before, so that made me feel a lot better about things.
That's a lie. You hadn't even followed me until like 3 days after the game.
Yeah, so I was gonna say the only 2 people I didn't talk to were JD and Alfie, which because I don't know, I was like, okay, that's a lot of work. So yeah, I didn't talk to them, and the only 2 people I played games with before were Skylar and John. So I didn't really know anyone. I didn't even know Tay was on Stan Brother, I guess.
I didn't either.
Oh, nobody did. Nobody knew that.
That's why it's better
I
for
didn't
my
watch
game.
season 1. I only watched because of Collie and Queen. Anyway.
Watch season 4. How about that?
Yes, Henry's ghost edit. So
What the?
so anyway, so yeah, I went into that
God.
game. I was like, okay, I get put on this tribe. I'm just like, okay, we're gonna vote out. The beginning of the game was very easy because people just like took themselves out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna vote out Kyler, and that didn't work out. But then someone blew up Matt's game. I'm like, okay, and then Kyler got out. The next tribe after that I went to, I was like, okay, pre-merge was really easy. I had an idol. I was never on the right side of the votes, but it was easy to survive. And once merge comes, the only person I really wanted out was Alfie because I didn't talk to him, and then he went home first. That was that was really
Plan
useful.
accomplished. Love
Yeah. I don't know. My plan was just to talk to. My general game plan was just to talk to every single person. And to like, I feel like I messaged everyone more than like anyone. I messaged everyone like a lot. Like I was always the person who would always reach out first. So I mean, people might find that annoying, but I don't think so. I feel like that's better than having someone not message you at all. So I at least have some people like give me. I wanted to give people some hope, and I always wanted to like work with people whenever it was right. I never wanted anyone to feel like I was against them. Like 100%.
I think one of your best moves was like genuinely just like the way the votes fell with Kayla when you voted to get Kyla out. Like the whole other tribe was like, okay, we're good with Riley because you made it clear that you saved her.
Yeah,
So,
I
like,
came into
then
that.
you just gained like a shit ton of allies just like that.
I came into that general Zoom call. I was like, no, not the.
And you doing that and being like vocal about it was good for your game, I think, because
Yeah.
we all trusted you from that.
Yeah. So yeah, the rest of the game just kind of used my social game, went with the flow, made some good relationships, and then I got to the end and won. Yeah.
Is everybody happy with Riley being the winner?
Yeah.
Yeah, you played a good game.
Yeah, go.
I mean, I wasn't there for most of it, like, because I was in the call, but there's times where I forgot he was even playing.
What? Wow.
Which could be a positive thing in this game. So
honestly,
it
I
could
would
be a compliment.
Same, to be honest.
I would
To be
second
honest, same.
that. Is like I never really saw Riley as a threat until the
Never.
moment he started talking and
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, I'm done. I was like, I was
It
like,
was just a number in the game until the end.
Yeah.
Riley was just so good at the end. I literally never saw him as a threat until he literally started opening his mouth, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it sounded like from when we were in the jury, a lot of the people were like really underrated Riley. So
No, my ass was ready to like ride with him and John all the way to the final 3. I was ready to take it, take the check, and run. No.
Yeah.
All right, and one last thing. Riley, you showed your credit card on camera.
Wait, hold up, Fluky. I know how crap your editing has been. You
Wait,
better
when?
edit that the fuck out.
It was during the scavenger hunt challenge. And
Oh, can we
I
talk
said
about
I said
the edit?
I said bring a form of currency, and he brought his credit card. So don't
Matt,
worry,
you
Riley,
need
you're
to edit
good.
that the fuck out.
I know.
I'll do anything to win. So if I have to give out my credit card information, then go ahead, take it. I can cancel it later, you know.
Okay, well, if I get Hulu with your credit card, don't be mad.